One of my goals for 2023 has been to ditch things that I'm paying for that I don't really need. One of those things, especially in the digital realm, is Evernote. I've been using Evernote since 2012, and I've accumulated over 2,000 notes in the application. But for some reason, Evernote has never really done anything for me. I don't know why, I just don't like it. A lot of people do, I don't. So what I'm doing is I'm curating those 2,000 notes and switching over to Apple Notes, which is already part of the macOS operating system. So I'm thinking that I can consolidate all of the notes I want to keep in Apple Notes and delete Evernote from my computer and then cancel the subscription, achieving part of my goal to achieve what I call the singularity of personal information management. I know what some of you are thinking. Apple Notes has less functionality than Evernote, and that's true. But this is 2023, and Apple Notes has a lot more functionality than it did in 2012 when I first started using Evernote. And no matter how much functionality Evernote has, the real question is not what it can do, but rather what I need it to do. And right now, after some little bit of research, Apple Notes does what I need it to do. So that's why I'm choosing Apple Notes. It does a lot more functionality than it used to. So on this portion of my trip, I'm in Thailand right now. My goal is to curate all 2,000 notes, delete the ones I don't want, and keep the ones that I do and transfer those over to Apple Notes. So far I've got about 200 notes in Apple Notes, and I only have maybe 300 notes left in Evernote. So it turns out a lot of the stuff that I had in Evernote is stuff that I never looked at again or just don't need anymore. So it was easy to get rid of a lot of that stuff. Hopefully by the end of this trip, I will be able to have 0 notes in Evernote and be able to delete the app completely from my computer and then cancel the subscription. You may never have heard of the singularity of personal information management, and that's because I just made it up. Here at International Big Shot Studios, if we come across a word or a term that it doesn't exist yet, we just make one up. But you get the idea. A singularity, I'm sure as all you know, is what is at the center of a black hole. And if you're not familiar with that, you can Google it up, as Lady Aisha would say. Last year when I came here, I couldn't figure out what these guys were doing. But then I realized they're scaring the birds just so the people in the picture can get a good shot. I think the birds must need counseling by the end of the day. Note-taking isn't the only target of my minimalist mission. I'm also attacking mail, reminders, and calendars, at least the 3 that I can remember right now. There may be more. I thought of switching from Gmail, which is the mail client I use right now for my email, and switching over to Apple Mail. Mainly because I like the way Apple Mail looks more than Gmail, but I decided against it because Gmail has a lot more functionality for the kinds of things that I need that Apple Mail just doesn't provide. So I'm sticking with Gmail for now. I made a video about this kind of thing about a year ago, where some of these management apps, they're meant to take away distractions and put everything in one place. And I'm thinking of an app like Notion. If you design it well, then it will take the place of a lot of different kinds of apps. But anybody that's used Notion knows well that Notion will become a distraction all by itself. It takes over your life, and all you do is try to design a good template or a good design or a good layout for your Notion app. It takes up your whole day. You feel like you're doing work, but in reality, you get absolutely nothing done. You become a Notion addict. So programs like that, in my opinion, are a complete waste of time. They do far more than you need them to do, but yet trying to get them to do what you want to do will take forever. You will never succeed. You'll be drawn down into the black hole of Notion templates and Notion layouts. Figure out something easier. Stay away from those giant management apps. Notion, Trello, Confluence, OneNote, you name it. Not good. Waste of time. Oh, I forgot to mention the one big daddy application of them all, and that's Obsidian. The one app that would like to be the one app to rule them all. Before you try Obsidian, and you might see a video or two on YouTube about this, check with your health insurance provider and see if they provide Obsidian addiction therapy. Because if you ever get drugged down into that rabbit hole, you're never getting out without help. One other app I'm going to be ditching shortly is Dropbox. I use Dropbox, Google Drive, and iCloud right now. And I only need 2 of those. And I'm going to keep iCloud, which is because it's part of the Apple, dare I say it, ecosystem. I'm going to keep Google Drive because I can actually store data there. People think that iCloud Drive is like Google Drive. It is sort of, but not really. Google Drive and Dropbox are pretty much the same thing. So I'm going to keep Google Drive, move my files in Dropbox that I want to keep over to Google Drive, and then eliminate my Dropbox account. Now, I don't want to give you the impression that there's anything wrong with Dropbox. There isn't. It's just that I don't need it. And is going into my minimalist mission, I want to get rid of all the things I don't need. Primary is things I pay for that I don't need, but anything in a digital sense that I don't need, I want to get rid of them. If you've never heard of these applications like Notion, Todoist, OmniFocus, or Things, well then good for you. You're not going to fall into that rabbit hole. For those of you that have heard of them or that may be using them, here are some tips on how you can tell if you're getting too far drawn in. First, if you're adding things like walk the dog or your meal times to your to-do list, you probably don't need a to-do list because we both know that you're adding those things just to make yourself look busy. Second, if you're adding things to your list that you did yesterday just so you can check them off, you're going down the rabbit hole. Third, if you're using Notion and everything starts to look like a database, you're in the rabbit hole. Call a friend. You need help. Finally, and this is a big one, if you've ever thought that you should make a video about your Notion layout, you're approaching the bullet journal level of crazy. You need help. Just stop. Right now, turn off the computer. Just stop. Look up bullet journal on YouTube. You'll see what I mean. When people get on these digital management kicks, they find out that their productivity goes downhill faster than a pig on roller skates. So I hope I'm helping you avoid that at least a little bit. I'm going to keep you updated on my quest for the Singularity. If you don't hear from me again, you'll know it didn't go well. Be seeing you.